Good morning, students, and welcome back to another virtual session for the subject of economics. In our previous lectures, we had studied about the meaning of economics and how economics developed as a science in the West. Today, we'll be learning the definitions given by Adam Smith, Alfred Marshall, Lionel Robbins, and Paul Samuelson. The definition given by each of the economists has their own criticism as well as good points. Now, let us start with the first one, that is the definition of economics by Adam Smith. Adam Smith was a Scottish economist, philosopher, and author who is considered as the father of modern economics. Smith's most notable contribution to the field of economics was his 1776 book, which he had written, that is, An Inquiry into the Nature and Causes of the Wealth of Nations. This book is popularly known as The Wealth of Nations, and his definition of economics is also known as wealth definition. He gave the definition as economics is the study of the nature and the causes of wealth of nation. This highlighted an important problem faced by each and every nation of the world, that is, the creation of wealth. The problem which we face today, like poverty, unemployment, it can be solved to a greater extent when wealth is produced and is distributed equally. But according to the criticism, his definition concentrates only on material wealth, whereas the social welfare was ignored. Adam Smith and his followers regarded economics as a science of wealth, which studies the process of production, consumption, and accumulation of wealth. Since the time of Adam Smith, economics was studied as an independent science, and in this way, he talked about human welfare only in his book. The next definition given over here is the definition by Alfred Marshall. Alfred Marshall, in his book Principle of Economics, which was published in 1890, placed emphasis on human activities or human welfare rather than on wealth. According to him, he defines economics as a study of man as they live and more and then think in the ordinary business of life. He argued that economics on one side is a study of wealth and on the other it is a study of man. He published his book Principles of Economics in 1890. His definition is also known as welfare definition. The definition that he gave is economics is the study of mankind in the ordinary business of life. This implies that in everyday life, people usually seek material well-being. According to the criticism that he faced was, economics studies only the material part of human welfare, which is measurable in terms of the measuring rod of money. It neglects the other activities of human welfare, not quantifiable in terms of money. And so his definition is considered to be narrow. Yet, his definition is important as it keeps human well-being at the center of human activity. So we have just now seen the definition of economics, that is the wealth definition by Adam Smith, and the welfare definition of economics by Alfred Marshall. Moving on to the third one, that is the definition given by Lionel Robbins of economics. His definition is also known as the scarcity definition. The most accepted definition of economics was given by Lord Robbins. In 1931, in his book, An Essay on the Nature and Significance of Economics and Science, his definition owns in terms of scarcity. The definition that he gave was how to allocate limited resources which have alternative uses in the satisfaction of reoccurring and unlimited wants in order to increase the well-being in a society. Now, when we say alternative uses, we know that any particular resources we can have more than one use of it. Now, to satisfy our reoccurring over here means certain wants like hunger or about clothes or about entertainment, they are reoccurring in nature. There is no end to that. So, to satisfy such wants, it is necessary that whatever resources we have, they have to be used in such a manner that we get the maximum satisfaction in order to increase the well-being in a society of any human being. Human wants are unlimited. The means or the resources to satisfy the wants are also scarce. And in relation to their side, it concludes that scarcity of resources is the fundamental, or you can say the major economic problem to any society. Because of this, there arises a problem of allocating, that is distributing the limited resources to satisfy our wants. Imagine if we had more than what we want, then there is no problem in satisfying our want. But the condition over here is just reverse. We have unlimited wants and we have few resources to satisfy those particular wants. Example, the land is scarce in relation to what the demand is there. However, if you talk about the utilization of land, it can be used for industrial purpose. It can be used for alternatively for cultivating agriculture or for any other particular thing. Even to make a home or a house, you can use the land. Now, a particular person, to use that particular land, he has to decide that which among these alternative different uses will satisfy his own particular one. So the resources are to be allocated in such a manner that the immediate wants are fulfilled, and you can understand how the problem of scarcity of resources gives rise to the problem of choice. His definition, as he said, also states that he can have transformed the subject from a normative social science into a positive science. His definition, according to criticism, places too much emphasis on individual choices. Scarcity problem in the ultimate analysis is a social problem. It's not an individual problem. It's a problem which is faced by the entire society or nations. So we cannot individualize it to a particular human being. So that was a criticism that the scarcity definition of economics given by Lionel Robbins faced. Moving on to the last topic that is of today is the definition of economics given by Paul Samuelson. Now, the full name of Paul Samuelson is Paul Anthony Samuelson. He was an American economist, the first American to win the Nobel Memorial Prize in Economic Sciences in 1970 for his outstanding contribution in this field. The definition that he gave is a bit too long. The definition is: economics is a study of how people and society end up choosing with or without the use of money to employ the scarce productive resources that could have alternative uses to produce various commodities over time and distributing them for the consumption now or in the future among the various persons in the society. It analyzes the cost and the benefits of improving the pattern of resource allocation. Now here, as you can see, he concentrates on different things like the consumption, the production, the allocation, and he also talks about one further thing that no particular economist till now, if you talk about Adam Smith, Alfred Marshall or Lionel Robbins talked about, is that he analyzes the cost and the benefits of it, that how it can, the pattern of allocation can be improved. The above definition that we heard given by Samuelson is very comprehensive because it does not restrict itself to material well-being or money measure, which we found in the definition of Adam Smith, Alfred Marshall, and you can say Lionel Robbins to a certain extent. It considers the economic growth over the time. The definition given by Samuelson is considered to be the most appropriate because of its dynamic and wider scope. It deals with the selection of choices, how the limited and scarce resources can be used, and how the resources which are allocated among the various persons in the society. It analyzes the cost and the benefits of improving the method of resource allocation also. The greatest merit, you can say, is that it recognizes the dynamic changes taking place, both in the means and ends with the passage of time. So to summarize, we can say, Samuelson, if you talk in one liner, if it is asked what is the main aim or what is particular Samuelson's definition concentrates on, it is like it talks about choice, the allocation of the scarce, that is the limited resources, evaluating of the cost and the benefits. That means when you make particular any expenditure, what benefit does it give you? It also analyzes on that front. So all these definitions, in a way, they commonly point out that economics studies human behavior. It is positive in nature. To a certain extent, it adopts scientific methods and methodologies, and so it is considered as a social science. So you can see that in today's lecture, we concentrated on the definitions: the wealth definition by Adam Smith, the welfare definition by Alfred Marshall, the scarcity definition by Lionel Robbins, and Paul Samuelson's definition is known as growth definition of economics, because he talks about the analysis of the cost and the benefits and how these particular limited resources can be used in a better way. Thank you.